I want a divorce.
Hey. Let's not.
Hey, yes.
Another day, another new revelation in the It Ends With Us drama. Ironically, it really didn't end with any of us. All it took was a few weeks after Colleen Hoover's novel saw its film adaptation being released that all hell broke loose. To catch everyone up to speed, and you'll really have to keep up here, there'd been rumors that co-stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni hated each other. Most co-stars who play love interests do. No big deal, right? Yeah, most co-stars don't sue each other though. Blake fired first with a complaint against Baldoni and film producer Jamie Heath. She claimed that they'd curated a toxic work environment specifically against her. Justin took his sweet time, first by getting dropped by his talent agency, and then by being bailed on by his podcast co-host. He eventually revealed that Blake was just upset she wasn't the director. Bold accusations, right? But who's telling the truth? Is it Blake and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, who've sworn to destroy Baldoni's standing in Hollywood? Or is it Baldoni who's coming after the couple for all they're worth? Literally, he's filed a $400 million defamation lawsuit against them for everything they've been saying. It's a regular he said versus they said situation, and fans are getting awfully tired of choosing sides. If only there were a website of sorts that would tell us exactly with dates and timestamps what really went down behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's not even about winning a PR war. Honestly, it's about saving someone's life.
Cue Brian Friedman, Hollywood's very own defamation lawyer, now representing Justin Baldoni. After conferring with his client, the duo decided the best way to tell fans what happened was to just, well, show them. Yep, there's an actual website released by the Baldoni team that gives you exclusive insights into what happened on set. And before you ask, yes, Blake's been trying to get that website down for the longest time. Something about it not being fair? Everything's fair in love, war, and Hollywood. Baldoni has the edge right now with the mountains of evidence he's produced that show one thing being as clear as day. Blake's just mad she didn't get executive control over the film. There are texts that show communication between the two and between Baldoni and Reynolds. Everything points toward Blake's delusion of being the sole person on set, and that she's somehow Khaleesi, the mother of dragons. Now, while doing some digging on our own, something interesting came up. Everyone's gone into investigative journalist mode right now, with the red thread and everything, trying to piece it all together.
Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why, what have you heard?
What we were more focused on, though, was why is Ryan Reynolds so mad? Sure, he's Blake's husband, and there's that whole thing about in sickness, health, or in drama, but why is he getting so overly involved in what should be his wife's thing? First of all, that's just what the couple's known for doing. Before any of you come at us, that's not an accusation. That's verbatim what Lively admitted to. She claimed that the duo just love bouncing ideas off one another. They also love being on set together, spending as much time together, and obviously giving notes on each other's projects. Does anyone else love it? Doubtful. So, Reynolds was a regular on the set of It Ends With Us, and he had more than a few text exchanges with Baldoni. All of them were pleasant, believe it or not, but then the great switch-up happened, and it happened on November 9th. That was the day when Blake and Ryan stormed onto set with a 17-point list of demands for Baldoni and Heath. That was the day when everything changed and the whole animosity began. Naturally, you're wondering what preceded it. Well, Baldoni couldn't tell you, but we can. Ryan thought Baldoni wanted to spend more quality time with his wife. Yes, everything's alleged here and all that, but we're going to look at the facts of the case for a minute. Fact number 1. Baldoni's company was the one that optioned It Ends With Us for movie rights in 2019. Colleen Hoover's book was all the rage on Book Talk, and Baldoni's team saw great potential. Fact number 2. Hiring himself as one of the male leads was a given, but the real star of the film was going to be Lily Bloom. While fan casts were different, Blake Lively was a welcomed choice, at least at first. Fact number 3, Baldoni and Blake were the best of pals. No, really, they had a pretty great working relationship up until she stormed on set on November 9th. Fact number 4, Reynolds couldn't be as involved with It Ends With Us as he wanted because he was busy filming for Deadpool 3. Reynolds had a seat at the director's table, along with being the lead of the show. Fact number 5, arguably the most important fact, Blake didn't have a seat anywhere at any table. She just got her own room as the lead of the film. Now, why wasn't Reynolds a huge part of It Ends With Us? He could have just switched between sets here and there. It's called a private jet, and we're sure Hollywood's finest have their own. Well, maybe because principal filming for Deadpool 3 was set in Vancouver in the United Kingdom. On the other hand, Blake's film was shot in the United States.
It's amazing. I mean, I'm not one for, vomiting declarations of sentiment out across the airwaves, but when we had that baby, I fell more in love with my wife than I'd ever been in my entire life.
That's the way it works.
I couldn't even believe
That's
it.
exactly the way it works.
In November, Reynolds had to fly out to the UK, and that would have meant missing out on time with his wife and kids. This was something that Blake had shared with Baldoni too. The couple didn't want to have to spend so many months apart. They wanted more time together. All right, unfortunately it's no one's problem but their own and, in their opinion, Baldoni's. So Ryan reached out to Justin, pouring his heart out and telling him that he'd have his name tattooed on her perineum if he could delay filming. With a lot at stake, Baldoni said, "Let me see what I can do."
Where I got to be her and experience that, and I sobbed at the end of it, and I just called her and I said, I have to find a way to make this into a movie. And here we are.
He couldn't do it. You have to remember that these are mega million-dollar productions, and this was Baldoni's ship to run. He couldn't delay production just because Ryan and Blake couldn't work out their schedules. As anticlimactic as it might seem, that's exactly what led to the couple waging war against Baldoni. They'll tell you otherwise, though. They'll tell you 17 other reasons that led to the conflict on set. Yeah, so when Baldoni didn't bend over backward for the family, they decided that the next best step would be to make sure his life was miserable. The 17 points were basically a list of demands curated by Blake and Ryan. This included giving Blake more creative control, say over final edits, and allowed her to make changes to the script. Their argument, and why they believed Blake was entitled to all of it, was that Baldoni and Heath had made sure her life on set was miserable. Blake had a mountain of claims against the duo. She accused Heath of showing her a video of his wife giving birth, completely unprompted, and then accused Baldoni of everything under the sun. Really, if you judged Baldoni based on everything that Blake had alleged, you'd think he was the worst person on the planet. From harassing her, to launching a campaign against her, to having their intimate scenes linger on after the crew had stopped filming. And then there was the whole allegation that he had wanted more out of the duo's very professional relationship. But then, if you actually take a look at the screenshots from Baldoni's website between the two, you'd think something else was going on. Now, we're no experts on love, and sure, some things can be misinterpreted.
Creative. And acting alongside her was incredible because I got real-time feedback of what was working and what wasn't working. I can only be so objective as I'm the character.
But have any of you actually seen the screenshots that Baldoni's team released? One thing's obvious. If I were Ryan Reynolds and I saw those screenshots, I wouldn't be too happy either. And that's another reason why a lot of people believe that Reynolds got overly involved with the whole drama, promising to destroy Baldoni's career if that was the last thing he ever did. How you get him is how you lose him, right? Huh?
It was hard not to love the movie because you guys are so beautiful to watch that I was just like,
Well, hello.
I was just like,
There'd been a pretty nasty rumor going around in Hollywood for a while now. It was one that involved the cutest couple. Yep, apparently Reynolds and Lively had kickstarted an affair sometime after filming Green Lantern, while he was still married to Scarlett Johansson. This obviously led to the couple breaking up and Reynolds finding his way to Blake. Not really Romeo and Juliet, is it? But anyway, fans actually believe that Reynolds grew paranoid, especially now that the flirtatious texts between the co-stars have resurfaced. Apparently, Ryan was afraid that the minute he left to film Deadpool 3, history would repeat itself. I guess Baldoni's wife is chopped liver. Now, whether Baldoni actually had an ulterior motive or not is still up for debate. We know that the co-stars were getting a little too comfortable with one another, at least on text. But was it enough to accuse Lively of wanting more from their relationship? That's another theory too. One that suggests that maybe Lively masterminded the 17-point list because she realized Baldoni was just being nice to her and didn't really want anything else. In any case, the couple pretty much saw Baldoni as a major roadblock in their perfect marriage. One, he wasn't giving Blake creative control over It Ends With Us, and that wasn't how the couple operated. Two, he wasn't willing to move things around and risk losing millions to give them more time to spend with each other. 3, he was flirting with Blake and possibly broke her heart. And 4, he wasn't even sorry about it. Do you think he should be? Do you think there's more to this drama that we still don't know about? Are you Team Blake or Team Baldoni? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more.